He's having fun. In our own little bubble. So we have to close this one before we can open this one, yeah? Okay.
It's like an astronaut.
Yeah, it's like a space dome. Oh, it sounds funny. Imagine that under a storm. Carol and I are spending the night in a space bubble. I think I want to show you the best feature of this whole thing. This is what they're calling a dry bathroom. Well, dry toilet, should I say. So we got the sink. Love is all you need. Nespa. So this I'm not too sure about. I can't see us using this. I think we will go I think we'll go all the way to reception. But there is a plastic bag in the toilet. So you do your business and then you take a cup full of this sawdust and you cover it, and then they'll empty it for you in the morning. I suppose a number 1 would be fine, but I think that's the limit. Down here we've got this this little pulley that Carol's attached my backpack to, but they actually bring your meal, your evening meal and your breakfast in, and you pull it up with this thing so you don't have to go downstairs to get your meal. I really hope this doesn't fall. My drone is in there. Awesome. This actually was a Christmas present from Carol that well, she gave to me last Christmas, but because of the virus we had to keep pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back, and it got to the point where after 2 alterations to the booking they said you either use it or you lose it. So we took the latest possible appointment that we could, the latest possible booking, and here we are. So I think it's actually going to be really interesting. I've never done anything like this before, but just being able to see completely 360 degrees around and under the rain as well, it's really really calming, really peaceful. I like it. It is extremely quiet and calm over here, so Carol and I are just going to have a walk through the woods. There's a few hiking trails and I think we're just on the well, the first and the easiest one, but it's very nice to be in the woods in nature with the sound of the rain on the leaves. Most relaxing. Someone's enjoying herself. Carol's embracing her inner daredevil and she's going to have a jump on the trampoline zone. I don't care how old you get, it's never not fun. You alright, babe? Carol's really hurt her ankle, so we've just been to the pharmacy. It's swollen up like an orange. And she needs an x-ray. She has a compression sock, an ice pack, painkillers and an anti-inflammatory cream. So we're just going to go back into our little bubble, have our dinner and try to enjoy the rest of the night. Nasty, nasty trampoline. Okay, it's dinner time in the bubble. Let's see what we got. Okay. Couscous. The food's so nice they named it twice. Melon.
Absolutely not seasonal.
Not seasonal. Hey, a thermos.
What is it?
A thermos.
No, but what? Coffee.
I have no idea. Nah, it feels cold, so probably not coffee. Probably cold chocolate. Chocolate milk. Okay, this one's for Carol. We've got some goat cheese.
I already had a bit.
She already had a bit. Some
Silent.
other cheese.
Camembert.
And some other cheese. Some papers. Haha. Some champagne. So we got some champagne, but Carol's on anti-inflammatory, so we're just going to take it home and have it another day. And this is a dessert called a fabreton, which is apparently a really old styley dessert in France, but I really like it, so I think that'll be just for me. Yeah. This is some pate, some mini gherkins or mini dills, and some andouille. Now, for those of you who don't know, andouille is pig's guts. Yum. Hey, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Sour cream and onion Pringles. And here we have, I don't even know, some green stuff. Yeah, that's for Carol. And lastly, we have a seafood platter. Well, for dinner in a basket, I'm actually really impressed. Bon appetit. It's actually a bit wet and it gets dark very quickly now. The seasons are changing, so there's no drone. But we've had our picnic dinner and I think we're going to turn in. So I'll see you in the morning. Night night. Good morning. That was a strange night in a bubble, but it was fine. It's breakfast time. Uh-oh. Let's see what's for breakfast. It's a continental breakfast with what we got. Apple juice, my favourite. Well, I think it's a shame the trip got cut a bit shorter. Not by a lot, just like we were going to have the morning and the afternoon there, but what can you do? If only one of you can walk, it's not very much fun. So here we are, having a shop and a bite. It was really misty in the woods this morning, so I took the drone up and, well, I'll just show you what I took. Enjoy. Okay, I've just finished editing the video and unfortunately the day did get cut short because of injury, but life happens. So instead of just ending it there, I thought it'd be an ideal opportunity to answer some of the more common questions that I've been getting in the comments. So why not address some of these? So the first one, and one of the more common ones, is what brings me to France, and the answer is kind of like a two-parter because one, when we lived in London, Carol and I both had fairly well-paying full-time jobs, but rent in London is so high that we'd get paid on the last day of the month, rent day would be on the first day of the month, and that was it. That was it for us for the month. You know, we'd get paid, we'd pay the rent, we'd buy our underground ticket for the month, and it left us with, you know, maybe 200-300 for the month for food. and it was no life. It was like we worked paycheck to paycheck, very much hand to mouth, and it got to a point where, at least twice a month we'd go and do our shopping for the week, and both our bank cards would get declined at the register, and it was so. I mean, it wasn't a great life, and it's really, it's really embarrassing for that to happen, and then when it starts to happen on sort of a semi-regular basis, you just think, what are we doing here? And obviously, with Carol being French and educated in France, and her degree is from France, she'd do a lot better over here. So when our lease was up in our shoebox flat in London, we decided that we could have a better life here. We've lived in France for 7 years now. Well, we were married in 2011. Moved to France in 2013, January 2013. So we've been here for 7 years now. For the first year and a half we lived here, we lived in a place called Nantes, which is the second biggest city in France, and we'd been there for maybe a week, and Carol had landed a manager's position in a shop called Etam Lingerie, and she did really well there, and I struggled to find work. I sent out 1,000 applications to 1,000 different places, and I said to Carol, I've said to anyone who would ask, I said, you know what, I would very happily get up at 3 a.m. and go and stack shelves in a supermarket, just to have something to do, because, not working really played on my mental health, really worried my family. So after about 18 months of Carol supporting both of us on her wage, we started looking for something to do as our own business. And in Nantes, there's no shortage of places to open a bar or a restaurant or anything. But the competition is fierce and the rent is very high. So Carol's family pretty much all live in the town that we're in now. And the property prices there is really cheap. So this place that we're in now came available, and we thought, we'll do our bar here. And if you've seen in the previous videos the size of the place, it evolved gradually into, first it was a bar, then it was, it could be more than a bar. We could do pub food. People didn't really want pub food, people wanted restaurant food, so then it evolved into a restaurant. Which brings me to the next question I get, which is, what happened to the restaurant? So we opened a restaurant in March of 2015, and we slowly built up quite a good reputation because, apart from being in the Navy, bar work is pretty much all I'd ever done. So I was right back in my comfort zone, pouring drinks and serving people, interacting with people, and it was really, really fun. After that initial 2-year period where everything's new and exciting and a good laugh, and you're meeting all these new people, you're having a great time working. Carol and I working together was really great because maybe some people don't want to work with their spouses, but we did all right. We began to notice that the restaurant was everything. It was our entire lives, from the moment we wake up on a Monday to Sunday afternoon after we'd finished a brunch service or a baptism or a communion or a birthday or a wedding anniversary. It was all we did all the time. Even on days where the restaurant was closed, it didn't really mean that we could relax or have a break or go anywhere, because there was stocking up, there was inventory, there was accounting, there was the phone ringing constantly for reservations and information, and we started to go off it very, very quickly. So we built up this good reputation. We had gotten 3 consecutive certificates of excellence from TripAdvisor, and I know it is only TripAdvisor, but it really does help restaurants. So for all the restaurant goers out there, if you like a place and it's on TripAdvisor, do leave that good review, because it makes a huge difference.
So we'd won those 3 consecutive awards. We had won a tourism award in April of 2018, and we were really pleased. We were really, really proud of it. But after that, our mood towards the restaurant business changed. We were no longer happy doing it. Our chef was, starting to burn out because it was just the 3 of us. There was Carol, me, and Sam, our chef. And it was a gradual decline in desire to be here for everyone. So in August of last year, Sam gave in her notice and she started a food truck, which I made a video for, because there were no hard feelings whatsoever about her leaving, because it was, especially looking back on it now, it was the best thing that could have happened, because it gave us an opportunity to focus on the shop, the clothes shop that we now have, and that is doing far better than the restaurant ever was. And, we're really, really pleased. So when Sam handed in a notice, I sort of went through the finances for the last 4 years, and it turned out that after the 4 years, we had all the sales and the turnover, but then when you take into account the wages, the taxes, the bills, the expense, blah blah blah, after about 4 years, we had made about 16,000 euros. So if you average that out at $4,000 a year, it was it was abysmal. So restauranting is hard. You have got to be dedicated, and you have got to expect it to run your life. So yeah, what a downer. So the third question would be, how do I know Gwendolyn and Billy, Michael and Ryan? And that sort of ties into the restaurant, because we'd maybe been open for a year. Gwendolyn and Billy were running Chateau de la Bémenier as a wedding venue, and they had guest rooms and everything. So they offered the whole package, but what they didn't have was an in-house cook or chef or caterer or anything. So Gwendolyn, I think she either sent Carol a message on Facebook or she called, and she asked if they could meet, because Gwendolyn was looking for somewhere to send their guests for a meal. So they arranged a meeting, and then I wasn't there for the meeting. I didn't meet Gwendolyn first. Carol met her first. But the story goes that Gwendolyn came in and saw Carol, and her reaction was, "Oh, you're our age," Gwendolyn, Billy's age, because she was expecting this old English couple, which was nice. And then they got to talking about business, and then they got to talking about each other, and then they became friends just from that. And I hadn't met Billy at this time, but there was a night in April. I don't remember if it was 2018 or 2019, but we put on live music. We put on a little acoustic concert just in the garden there, and Gwendolyn and Billy came to it. And I think this is probably the only. I think this was the first time I met Billy. I may have met him in passing before that, but he drank so much. He drank so much whiskey and coke that he had no inhibitions. He was everybody's best friend, and that's what I like. That's the kind of person that I would gravitate to. Is just really affable and funny, and no filters. And says exactly what he thinks, and that was great. That's my first memory of meeting Billy. I don't know whether I met him before or not, but Carol and I went to the chateau the next day for something or other, and no hangover. Billy had no hangover whatsoever, and I just couldn't believe it. And then while we were talking, Billy says, "Oh, Dan, come and have a look at this," and he's got this big cinema camera. And it turns out that we have a similar interest in camera gear and drones and toys and boy stuff. So we bonded over that kind of thing. And then there was a barbecue in the summer, not long after. And Billy said, "Can I bring Ryan? Or can my family come? Can Michael come? Blah blah blah." And there you go. The rest is history. It was one of the best things that happened to me over here was meeting that group of people, because they're such a good laugh, and they're just a decent group, and I'm really happy that I know them. So the next question. So the next question that I get asked a lot is what drone and cameras do I use? And the drone I use is the DJI Mavic 2 Pro. In my opinion, it is the best drone you can buy for the money. The picture quality you get out of it is just amazing. It's very good bang for your buck. And the camera I use, the camera that I'm filming on now, is the Sony A7 III. I have a DJI Osmo Pocket, which I use when I'm out and about as my walk and talk camera. And I have a little action camera, like a GoPro style camera that I don't really use very often, but it's there just in case I need it. I am just glossing over that one. I've answered that question a few times, so it's down there in the comments somewhere on the reply. And the next question, and the one I think people are most apprehensive about, particularly in the US and Canada, is what are the drone rules in France. And I've got to say, the drone rules in France are actually quite relaxed. There is an online learning course that you have to watch. There's an exam. There is the registration of each drone that you own. And you have to be able to present the certificate and the registration if ever anyone of authority was to ask. The rules in France, I call them the common sense rules because that's exactly what they are. You don't fly over people's houses. You don't look in people's windows. You don't go over national parks, nature reserves, and you don't go near airports or crowds of over 100 people. It is common sense, but not so long ago in England there was some moron who flew his drone. I think it was Gatwick Airport. He flew the drone over Gatwick Airport. And those kind of people are the kind of people that ruin it for everybody else, because all that's going to do is lead to stricter regulations and, drone pilots getting a bad reputation, which is terrible, because, everyone I know who owns and flies a drone is actually, they stick to the rules, like, as well they should. The only country that I know that is even more relaxed than France, where droning is actively encouraged, is Switzerland. And the only reason I found that out was because we were there not so long ago. And before we go anywhere, I'll always check the drone rules. And the Swiss actually encourage it because, they understand that it's a unique perspective. You can get some great images out of it. And if you have a YouTube channel or a travel blog or travel photography page or anything, it's a great way to advertise a beautiful country. So that was nice. That was good to know for me. That was amazing, that trip. The drone up in the mountains was just beautiful. And the last question that I have is, do I film for Billy and Michael? And the short answer is no, I don't. They do pretty much everything themselves. The odd occasion that I did film for Michael was he was pretty new to YouTube. I don't even think I had started YouTube yet, but he knew I had a drone and he wanted to embark on this project, and he said, "Dan, would you mind?" Obviously I don't mind, and I've maybe 4 or 5 shots of mine have appeared in Michael's vlogs. It's definitely not more than that. It may even be less, because he's very dedicated to his audience, so he likes to do everything himself, and more power to him. For Billy, the very first episode of the Petherics, he asked me to be his and Michael's full-time cameraman, and for various reasons I couldn't do it, so I volunteered to go and film a portion of that first episode for him. Other than the drone shots in that episode, none of the gear was mine. The camera, the setup, the edit, the rig, was all Billy. I think the editing process of making these channels is the most enjoyable part. I can sit here for hours and I could lose an entire afternoon just tweaking every little thing, and Billy and Michael are exactly the same. So I have filmed a tiny percentage of anything that has showed up on their channels. I'm happy to do it, and as far as I'm aware, they're happy to have me. Okay, so I am going to leave it there. I don't know what's going on with these gins. They just keep appearing in front of me, so I think I'm going to have to indulge. I've got my onesie. I'm doing nothing else for the evening. So I will love you and leave you. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves, look after each other, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you lots. Bye.